I was standing in a room, remembering my mom and dad, and the time when I was a kid and I was in the ocean near a sinking ship. I was screaming and calling for my parents when I saw someone in the water. It was my mother, but she was dead. Then, a huge wave came, and I began drowning. I saw the dead bodies of the people who had been on the boat, and my father was among them. I started swimming upwards when my grandfather grabbed my hand and pulled me up. Horrified, I cried profusely. He was the chairman of the Changu Group. Through my tears, he told me, no matter what, you must inherit Changu. Then, he handed me a pen, saying, if you bring this to Lawyer Kim, he will help you with the insurance. Taking off his life jacket, he told me, do not trust anyone. I cried, begging him to save my mom and dad, but he refused. I was shocked. He then put the life jacket on me and pushed me away. A huge wave approached him, and he smiled at me. Sometime later, I was floating in the ocean. I opened my eyes and saw a large ship before me. When I woke up on the ship, 2 men were standing nearby. A blonde man called his captain to inform him that I was awake. Someone on a large pillar heard him. I noticed that the man had a tattoo and didn't seem like an ordinary person. Then, someone jumped from the tower and landed on the ground. It was a long-haired woman. She asked, how did you get on our ship? And scolded the 2 men. Nervously, I explained about the attack on our ship. The woman asked, where did you come from? I told her I was Korean and that people with guns had killed my parents. She said, you were brought onto my Salerno family's Italian ship. I was confused when I heard that. She laughed and said, in the Gulf of Aden in the Middle East, who will catch you? She took out her sword, pointed it at me, and asked, kid, why shouldn't we throw you back? She was the director of the trade branch of the Salerno family. I looked at her sword and showed her the pen, telling her I was the grandson of Korea's Changu Group's chairman. They were all shocked. She recognized the Changu Group and said it was the best company in Korea. She then ordered her subordinates to check the news. She asked me, can you speak other languages? I replied, yes, I can speak all the basic languages. The 2 men showed her the news, and it turned out to be true. She thought it would be fun to keep me on board. I requested, if you can, please contact someone in Korea. I remembered when my grandfather had given me the pen and added, but don't contact my family, contact someone else. Later that night in Seoul, Korea, a man picked up the phone. The black-haired woman asked him, are you Lawyer Kim Isu? She smugly said, did you see the picture I sent you? Should we send him back to Korea? The man asked, what do you want? She replied, $10 million. He was dancing with some girls and drinking alcohol, and he told her, if you kill that kid, I'll give you $1 million. I was horrified when I heard him say that. He continued, you should already know what will happen if you don't kill that kid. We'll spread the rumor that you guys are the ones who attacked them. He added, don't worry, I have mercenary contacts around me. After all, the group is ours. I stood there in shock. Then, I heard her say, I'm sorry, kiddo. I have no reason to keep you alive now. Trembling, I begged, please, let me go. She replied, you're no longer the kid from the conglomerate. I'm sure they're already preparing a funeral for you guys in Korea. They decided to kill you in the first place so that they can take over the power. I know it because it's very common in my world. I was horrified thinking, they decided to kill us. Uncle, aunt, my relatives, my family. The 2 men were behind me laughing, saying she clearly has no intention to kill him. She's joking around because it's fun. I was trembling, thinking I barely survived. Why do I have to die here? Then a man entered the room and shouted, Capo, there's an attack. He informed her, 3 high-speed boats and 1 armed helicopter, all armed. Some boats and a helicopter were coming towards the ship. She asked, is it Interpol? He replied, I don't think so. They've been ignoring the radio. She was shocked. Then she noticed me there and said, it must be from the call earlier. Those Koreans, have they been trying to find the kid? Suddenly, I picked up a pen, and they all looked at me, confused, holding back my tears. I told them, Changu will never give you the money, so there's no use in killing me. She was standing in front of me while I was crying. Then I showed her the mark on my hand and begged her, please take me in. If you give me the power to take revenge, I'll be loyal for the rest of my life. I thought, our Salerno's tattoo. When did this kid see it? She was laughing and left, saying, Mateo, start preparing. We're having a festival. And they agreed with her. She said to me, kid, you can take responsibility for your words. And added, you want power to take revenge, even if you get blood on your hands. I remember her saying, listen to me carefully, Tia. You must inherit Changu no matter what. I looked towards her. She smiled and said, the dog who barks doesn't bite. This is fun. Then she exited the room by kicking the door and told them, follow me. She told me from now on, your life is in Salerno's hands. Live and die for the family. Look closely. She was standing before the chopper and was saying to me, this is going to be your future. 17 years later, I was standing in a room and saying there must be no ash because they couldn't find your body. But this is still the only place where I can give my greetings. I looked up and added, Mother, Father, please look after me from now on and watch how I'll take revenge. Then I noticed some cars coming towards me, and they started firing at me. me. I was dodging their bullets when some men came out of the cars. Then a man stepped out, and he was from Changu Security. Under Changu Group, Lee Jangu, hurry and find the executive director. He walked forward, saying, I don't know what kind of crazy guy did it, but I can't believe that they think they can survive even after kidnapping the executive director of Changu Group. Then a man informed him, Manager, I found him. That's the car you told us. Before he could complete his words, the car exploded, and he was killed. They were all shocked, and then, from his left side, the heads of his men were chopped off. When he turned to his right side, they were also killed. I jumped behind him with a knife in my hands. He saw a cut near his stomach, and we tried to punch each other. I looked towards him, easily dodged his attack, and struck his stomach, cutting him into pieces. He was shocked and fell down dead. I stood there with my bloody clothes, looking down. I started walking forward, and the car was burning. I entered a white car, picked up a bag, and got out of the car. I opened the trunk and saw the lawyer begging me to spare him. He was the same lawyer who had betrayed me. I threw some money in his face, saying, That's $1 million. Executive Director. I think the promised money from 17 years ago was not delivered properly. He looked confused, then remembered what he had said. I took out a lighter from my pocket, lit it before his face, and threw the burning lighter at him, adding, Because I died that day and was reborn. He was burning, and I looked at him without any mercy. I took out a cigar and brought it close to the fire to light it. I thought, Grandfather, my parents, I'm sorry for being late. Please don't worry, and go to a good place. I will carry on. I walked forward across the dead bodies and added, All of your hard work is with me. Later, in a town, I was running forward, cutting down goons. Blood covered my face as I walked toward a man trembling in the corner. He was yelling, Who sent you here? And started threatening me. You don't know who we're working with. It's Changu. Wiping the blood from my knife, I said, Holdings, a private security company subcontracted by Changu. The job is to provide secret protection for Changu's key directors and executive officials outside of work hours in the Gangbok district. I walked to a door and said, Most of the time outside of security duties is spent on other activities. Inside the room, some people were tied up and beaten. I added, carrying out kidnappings, assaults, murders, and other such activities. They were scared when they saw me, and I threw a knife toward them. Then, I left, saying, Everyone, stop it and get outside. None of you can say that you saw me. They cut the ropes around them and then ran away, thanking me. The man was trembling and said, Are you their family member? Taking my mask off, I told him, It's just that it will be difficult to talk if they're here. I need to know the executive's schedule for this week, from the executive vice president to the chairman. You know that the emergency meeting directive number 1 has been issued. He shouted back, I don't know, you crazy. Do you think I would tell you even if I knew about it? I put the knife near his face and told him, It looks like your life is still bearable for now, so let's start with your eye first. If you want to tell me anything, then raise your hands and speak. Somewhere in an alley, I was walking forward thinking, a cigar would stand out too much. Should I smoke some Korean cigarettes? I finally returned to Korea after a long time, but this country is insane. A man was saying, I promise this to all the citizens. I will exercise all the powers granted to the president by the Constitution to eradicate the widespread crime and violence in our society. Right here, right now, I declare war on crime. But before he could complete his words, a gun was pointed at him, and he was shot in the head. I explained, the president who declared war on criminal organizations lost his life in 1990. After that incident, no one could eradicate the criminal organizations, and naturally, the country began to succumb to violence and money. Changu colluded with criminal organizations to bribe the media and incapacitate its competitors. Afterwards, the media kept sponsoring sports and entertainment, causing people to forget about the nation's politics. Even if a dog ran for president, the people would still believe that Changu is a people's company. I entered a store, and the store lady welcomed me. Then a man accidentally spoke in unison with me as I was giving the money to the store owner, saying, Give me a cigarette, please. We both looked at each other and then once again said in unison, the +1. We were both looking at each other. The store lady nervously said, I'm sorry, but there's only 1 pack left now. So, I sighed and told her, just give it to him, don't mind me. Then I left. When he came out, I stopped him and asked, Can I borrow just 1 stick? He replied, Can't you just buy it at another convenience store? I answered, It's been a while since I last visited Korea. I was buying it just to try smoking once. He took out a cigarette from the packet and exclaimed, Do you even remember this tasteless thing? Then he left, saying, You will get caught if you smoke it here, so make sure you smoke it in a smoking room. I thought, when you've been in the mafia for 17 years, just by looking at someone, you can roughly gauge their rank. He's strong, to the point where he could be compared to the monsters I encountered overseas. Were talented people really this common in Korea? I left there thinking, anyway, it would be nice if I don't run into him. Then the man from before arrived in a room where several dead bodies were lying down. He was smoking and examining them, thinking, all of them are dead, about the size of sashimi. He extinguished his cigarette on the ground, then picked up a call. The caller asked, What's the matter? I told you not to call me at this hour. He replied, you said you have a meeting today. You'll have to postpone it. He further added, the guy who killed Executive Vice President Kim In-soo looks like he's aiming for you. The caller was surprised. He revealed that the security company that was supposed to help today couldn't be reached, and when I arrived, they were all wiped out. It looks like a lone raid carried out with a single blade. It's the same person who killed Executive Vice President Kim In-soo. He's not an ordinary person either. It seems he knows your secret meeting place as well. The caller asked, what are you talking about? It's the Changu family's tradition to gather the families during an emergency. The tradition that only our family knows. You're saying he found out about it and attacked us? That's why I entrusted it to you. Find him without anyone knowing. He noticed a blade and remembered me, thinking, if he's not a blade wielder, there's no way that kind of scar would be easily inflicted on his palm. He asked, could there be someone in our family who uses a blade? His name was revealed to us as the 7th rank in the Osung faction, Cheon Hee-min. The caller said, what are you talking about? There are people who can't even cut an apple, and the families have gathered here too, except for the kids. If you're that anxious, just come here. I will give you 100 million, so just protect this place. Cheon Hee-min told him, I'll go there, but please increase the security, at least by thrice. The caller replied, I got it. Bye. For a mere gangster, who is he to tell me what to do? Does he want to die? He noticed someone as he was walking forward and then exclaimed, when did you come, Chairman? Cheon Hee-min said on the call while walking, yes, President. It's me, Hee-min. I will leave after helping out Changu just for today. He asked, Betrayal, are you drunk? What kind of crazy person would reject 100 million more? I was behind him while he was walking forward, and the caller told him, it's hard to tell you the details, but it seems that there will be a dangerous person. Turning back toward me, he said, never mind. I'll explain what happened to you later. Yes, goodbye. He asked me, was that one stick not enough? I replied, there must be a reason why I met a skilled person like you near the site. It was a good thing I followed you secretly. He put his hand on his face and said, there are quite a lot of humiliating things today. You robbed my cigarette, followed me from behind, and on top of that, he asked, did you think I wouldn't notice? It's the first time for me. I stepped forward, saying, I'm gonna ask you one thing before we start, and asked him, who are you? He replied, can't you understand me? I was just helping you for a moment. I looked toward him, then pulled out my knives from my back. Suddenly, he tried to attack me with a steel pipe, but I blocked his attack. He was surprised as I looked toward him and started attacking. He blocked my attacks spontaneously but was eventually thrown away by the force. When he tried to strike me again, his steel pipe broke into pieces. Shocked, he looked at the broken pipe, and as he looked around, he couldn't find me. Then he noticed I had jumped from above towards him. He was thinking, Changu is also hella unlucky. How do they end up being targeted by monsters like these? I was going to attack him, and he was cursing under his breath. After he was thrown away, I started leaving. He asked me, what are you trying to do? I looked toward him, and he continued, you came all this way here, and now you're just going to leave. You'll regret leaving me alive, you know? I replied, sorry, but I have my own rules. If you were from Changu, I would have killed you. Don't chase, don't stop, don't even stand out. If you help the Changu Group again, there won't be a second time. I told him, if you still don't understand, think of it as paying back the cigarette I borrowed. He smiled and said, a cigarette for my life? So cheap. Sometime later, I was in a car, clenching my teeth from pain, examining my wound. I thought, fortunately, it's not too deep. I can still move. I was driving while thinking, 32 minutes remaining until the 17-year revenge is complete. 32 minutes left. I remembered when blood spread around my face and my dad was protecting me. I was screaming, trying to reach him, but my dad stopped me, standing before the gunman, and told my mom, quickly take Tia and run away. We both left while I was screaming. Suddenly, the boat started trembling. I called my mom, and she told me to find a life jacket and jump into the sea. She smiled at my face and added, you have to survive, okay? The gunman was saying this is really frustrating. I told you to kill them all and blow it up. I was confused when I realized they were Korean. He was pointing his gun towards me, and my mom was screaming at me to go, hurry. I was running while crying when the ship exploded in the middle of the sea. Smoke was coming from it, and it was slowly sinking in the ocean. Currently, Gangbox Secret Annex. A woman was drinking the juice from her glass and was saying so. Who is the bastard who killed Executive Director Kim In-soo? She was Changu Group Department Store President Jin Joo-hee, eldest daughter. The man replied, isn't it a crime of passion? Didn't he have 2 more families hidden away in secret? And he was the Changu Group Corporation President Jin Jae-sung's second son. Jin Joo-hee exclaimed, so disgusting. I really don't know why he was like that. Jin Jae-sung asked, is it something you should say? Considering you live with a bunch of lovers? A man said, how much of the holding company's shares did Executive Director Kim own? It needs to be sorted out quickly. And he was Changu Group Motors Director Jin Jong-won's 4th son. Someone banged at his head on the table and told him to be silent. Go ahead and speak, Chong. and he was Changu Group Electronics Chairman Jin Guho's eldest son. Then a man replied yes. There are only 2 employees left at the scene. It was Changu Group Electronics Executive Director Jin Chong, eldest son of Jin Guho. We have also confirmed that there are no other witnesses. I didn't gain much from asking, so I've dealt with those friends. He further added, well, I didn't know anything about them since they were secondary subcontractors. I made sure to talk to the police so that the story wouldn't leak. Jin Guho glossed directly on Jin Chong's face, and everyone was surprised when they saw that. Jin Guho asked what about the Osong faction. Jin Chong was silent, looking down. Suddenly he smiled and replied, well, I don't know anything. When I asked someone if they were innocent, they sent Cha He-min. You know He-min, right? The one who is ranked 7th on their side. Jin Guho hit the wine bottle on his head and said, you don't even know who killed him, and you haven't been able to find him for over 24 hours, and you even reported it to the Osong faction. If the chairman and Suyak hadn't died 17 years ago, someone as incompetent as you wouldn't have even been able to enter this house. But he again smiled and replied, well, even if he's hiding in South Korea, it's still within the palm of Changu's hand. I'll find him within 12 hours. They were all shocked when they saw him smiling without any emotion. Jin Juhi asked Jin Jaesong, why does brother always treat the eldest like that? No matter how much he hates him, he's still his son. He replied, it's not because of hatred, apparently it's something scary. He said to his assistants, give me the phone. He wiped his face and took the phone in his hands. He asked, what about the boys? She replied, they're ready. He was licking the wine from his face and saying, I'm so nervous. I wonder how he'll come. I was driving the car while thinking I've been thoroughly investigating Changu since that day 17 years ago when I was taken in by the Salerno family. After grandfather passed away, the eldest son, Jin Guho, inherited the shares and became the chairman. It was all smoothly carried out even before the funeral was over. Jin Guho took advantage of the chaos caused by the failure of the war on crime. He allied with other factions, like the Osong faction, to expand his power. Since then, it became Changu's world, but in case of an emergency, they all gather in the secret annex to hold a family meeting. That has been the case since the time of my grandfather. That's the way it's always been done. Neither the system nor the tradition has changed. He killed them just to get a spot in the system my grandfather created. Both my father and mother, and even I. From the CCTV, a man noticed a car coming and informed them that a car was running towards us. Then, they used metallic pipes to block the car, while the others were enjoying the party under the house. I opened my seatbelt, the car crashed, and I walked forward with a knife. They all looked at me in shock. I jumped toward them and killed them all, thinking I ever turned. They heard some noise coming from the front gate, leaving everyone confused. Jin Chong was smiling when Jin Jongwon asked, hey, Jin Chong, what's the commotion outside? Check it quickly. Jin Chong replied, there's no need to. Still feeling perplexed, they all pointed their guns towards them, adding to the confusion. Jin Chong got up from his seat. Jin Guho was looking at him, and Jin Chong smiled back, saying, you knew it would turn out like this. The reason you hated me is that you're afraid of losing your seat. You're scared you'd end up like grandfather. With an evil grin, he continued, because the one who killed grandfather and uncle was me. I walked forward, thinking, this is the start of my 17-year plan. They pointed their guns at me. Inside the house, Jin Jaesong shouted, Jin Chong, are you crazy? How could you aim a gun at your family? He was wiping his shirt and looked confused, then asked, me? What did I do? I didn't do anything. The But brothers started shouting at him. Then Jin Juhi asked Moon Yanmin, are you siding with Jin Chong? He replied, I am sorry, ma'am. Park Juno said, no hard feelings. It's just that the merits of betrayal are too tempting. Hwang Junhyuk also said, that's why you should have raised our wages a bit. The quietest one was Moon Dane. Jin Guho said, although it's possible for others, I never thought that even you guys would do it. He asked, are you really betraying us, Baek Junsu? He replied, I'm not protecting the chairman, I'm protecting Changu. He was the exclusive bodyguard of the former chairman and head of Changu security. Jin Jaesong started shouting, but suddenly a gun was pointed at his head, and Baek Junsu killed him. They also pointed their guns at Jin Juhi and Jin Jongwon and killed them. She handed a tissue to Moon Dane and walked forward. Jin Guho said, I always thought one day you'd do this. He took the gun from Hwang Junhyuk, and Jin Guho continued, ever since your healthy little brother died of acute leukemia and his wife demanded a divorce without even wanting a settlement, he angrily added, I've had a feeling it was all you're doing. That's why I kept you away. Jin Chong replied, you sure have a lot to say. You had grandfather and brother killed. He pointed his gun at Jin Guho's head and added, 17 years ago, in the Gulf of Aden, where they didn't even need to go, using the excuse of being from the special forces. Who was it that pushed them into the storm? Jin Guho shouted, so what if Suyak gave the chairman position to his son? We won't get any position. Jin Chong came closer to him and said, but why didn't you give me the successor position? Jin Guho, frightened, looked into Jin Chong's eyes and replied, because I know that I will die if I give you the successor position. Tapping the gun on his chest, Jin Chong said, that's true, but now that I hear it myself, I'm quite upset. Jin Guho told him, even if you kill me here, you'll never be able to sit in the chairman's position because, he replied, I know, power transfers from physical and political coups aren't recognized. That's the committee's clause. He asked, but what should I do? And added, the ones causing the mess outside aren't on our side. What then? Jinguo, confused, asked, who is it? He killed him and replied, who else? The noble who has waited for 17 years, who will cover up this entire thing. A man was screaming and shooting bullets, but I easily knocked him down. I was running toward the guards, thinking, the main force of the Changu Group is the Changu security guards. The family bodyguards, who are at least at the level of general managers, are especially important. I thought of them as stronger than that guy from before. I stopped and started running straight towards them, thinking, there's no problem. I jumped toward a man and stepped on his stomach. He screamed at the others not to shoot, but they didn't stop. I used him as a shield, grabbed him, and threw my knife at another man, slicing his gun in two. I ran towards them, killing them one by one. They started running, but I threw my knife at them. Suddenly, a man blocked my knife, and more guards came. I ran toward them, killing others while running. One of them walked toward me as I was in pain from a previous wound. I noticed a punch near my face and was thrown back. I stopped and looked at him. He jumped and prepared another punch. When he tried, I took out my knife and cut him in two. The other two were shocked. I threw my knife at them, and they cursed me. But before it reached them, I kicked one in the face. One of them noticed when I picked up the knife, and I killed him too. Then I slowly walked forward and picked up my knife, thinking, it's delayed longer than I thought. It's strangely quiet. Did they escape through a route I didn't know? As I slowly entered the house, I noticed Jin Chong sitting there, and he said, you worked hard. Sit down and rest for a while. I looked around the place and noticed they were all dead. He got up and said, you look better than I've heard. It seems you still take care of your skin even while living as a killer. It's been a while. Tia, you remember me? Jin Chong? I was confused and said, Jin Go's eldest son. He replied, you're speaking informally, you bastard. Is my father your friend? I looked at him, and he further added, it's a shame to leave, so I've been waiting. But I still think it's my duty to explain. If you don't want to sit, just listen while standing. It won't take long. Do you remember 17 years ago? You were rescued by the Italian mafia when you almost died. Actually, that time, suddenly, Moondane interrupted him and said, the helicopter is ready. Let's go. It's too dangerous. He replied, damn it, so frustrating. I told you I'd come out once I'm done talking. I looked at him and realized that voiced the one who killed my family 17 years ago. Then I remembered, Jin Chong was the soldier who killed my family. I angrily called his name. With a dark face, he was silently looking down and then exclaimed, gosh, what should I say? He smiled and added, you're going to keep speaking informally? You're making me want to kill you. Angrily, I told him, try, because I came to do that. He asked, why do you keep addressing me informally? I thought, let's take a moment to sort things out. Jin Chong knows that I survived 17 years ago. Moreover, he knows that I went to Salerno and became a killer. But why did he stay quiet all this time? Why did he plan a coup the exact day I returned after 17 years? It doesn't look like a coup. He needs the justification that I led the attack to rise to the chairman position. Huang Junhyuk told me, we don't need a formal introduction, right, old young master? I was looking at his face as he fired some gunshots at me. I blocked them with my knife, then started running toward him. Suddenly, Park Juno landed a kick. I tried to block it and realized, so he was there too. He said, I'm Park Juno. Nice to meet you. I jumped back, creating some distance between us. Huang Junhyuk kept firing at me as I dodged the bullets. He asked, aren't you faster than the rumors say? You'd win a gold medal if you went to the Olympics. Suddenly, Park Juno tried to land a kick, but I dodged it and was very surprised. He asked, is flexibility your secret? Spontaneously, he started punching me. I blocked them, thinking, strong, just as expected from the core strength of Changu Group. They're on a completely different level from outsiders. Normally, I would have dealt with these guys all at once, without giving them a chance to prepare. Jin Chong is letting his guard down. If there's a chance, now is the perfect opportunity, since Chief Security Officer Baek Junsu is absent. If the woman next to Jin Chong is Moondane, then there are currently 3 bodyguards. There are clearly 4 blood relatives who attended the meeting. But, as he tried to land another punch on my face, I noticed the reflection in his eyes. An enemy was about to attack me from behind. I dodged a sword slash, and they were both surprised. I thought, only one left. Moon Yanman told him, you should have lured him to a place where light doesn't reflect. Park Juno added, if it were that easy, I would have dealt with him already. Huang Junhyuk reloaded his gun and asked, how much bonus will I get if I kill him? They started shooting at me again. Jin Chong said, shoot when he's at a distance. Engage in hand-to-hand combat when he gets close. It's quite chaotic, isn't it? They were trained from the start to catch you. They say you're top class when it comes to speed, and the rumors have even reached Interpol. I was listening as he added, well, honestly, I thought about killing you with a bomb, but I have to fight just enough and then end it, so that I look like a hero. They cornered me in a bright spot. Huang Junhyuk pointed his gun at me and said, no matter how fast you are. Moon Yanman added, we'll make it so you can't move. Park Juno prepared a punch, and I was surprised. Jin Chong smiled and added, Good job, Tia. As he was about to punch me, I remembered 4 years ago when she said, "This is really absurd." Hey, Jean Tia, what are you trying to do? A man was killed, and his blood was all across the room. She added, told you to deal with one traitor, not paint the room. Then she started vomiting and asked, how many times has this happened? You could have finished it quietly at your own pace. I remembered the time when I was rescued and when she was saying, Lorenzo has been good to you so far, so I understand that you feel betrayed. If you make it so obvious when killing, it will only increase the number of people who will resent you. Then she left, telling me, for the sake of your master, that is, for the sake of the Salerno family, don't ever make a mess like this again, okay? I looked down and replied, and I don't want to know even if you did. She was confused, looking toward me, so I added, if a man who betrayed his family dies so quietly, then this won't set an example for others. People need to know how betraying the family ends. Rumors must spread like a plague. It needs to be exaggerated, twisted, and vividly conveyed to the living. That way they won't betray us. Otherwise, I'll be coming for them too, she said. In order not to kill again, you have to kill them in the most horrifying way. I was listening, and she explained, in the middle of the Phlegethon River, to spew such nonsense with a face that hasn't been touched by a drop of blood. As expected, being a killer doesn't suit you. At that moment, a light appeared before him. It was a flurry of blade slashes, and blood began dripping from his mouth. Jean Chong and Moon Dane were both surprised. I was looking at Moon Yanman pointing his gun at me and cursing. I directly stabbed his eye, then ran past him as he thought. Incredible speed, and enough power to break a sword. The analysis was wrong from the beginning. Everyone who witnessed his full strength ended up dead. This is his true skill. I was exhausted, trying to reach Jean Chong as quickly as possible. Huang Junyuk was pointing his gun at me, shouting. Then Baek Junsu appeared, calling out to Moon Dane, take the young master outside. I'll catch up soon. I was surprised to see Jean Chong leaving. Moon Dane looked back at me as I screamed Jean Chong's name, cutting through Huang Junyuk's guns and defeating him. I rushed past, heading toward Jean Chong. He noticed as I yelled, where do you think you're going? I'm still here. Then Baek Junsu blocked my way, saying, it's been a while, young Master Tia. I was surprised when I saw him. I tried to attack him, shouting, get out of the way, but he blocked my blades effortlessly with just 2 fingers and prepared to punch, saying, you've grown up well. I, Baek Junsu, acknowledge you. His punch landed hard on my stomach, cracking my ribs, and I began coughing up blood. He broke my blade with ease, adding, however, this is the end. Then he struck with his knee, sending me rolling across the ground. But he noticed a scratch on his shoulder and said, get up, Huang Junyuk. I know you're fine. Huang Junyuk got up, scratching his head, and replied, I was so surprised, I almost died. He left, saying, this place is going to explode soon. Bring Moon Yanman outside. I was left lying on the ground, defeated. On the other side, Baek Junsu was heading toward the chopper. As he entered, Jean Chong asked, are you done? He replied, yes, once we take off, detonated. He was about to close the door when Jean Chong stopped him, saying, don't close it. Hey, get the helicopter in the air. Baek Junsu warned him, debris may get in. Close it. Jean Chong replied, what are you talking about? I have to see it with my own eyes. Do you know how long I've waited for this moment? As the chopper began its takeoff, he gazed out through the open door, saying, this damn house. I've always hated this place. Always talking about family, it's a damn lie. In reality, they don't want to lose power, so they want to pass it down by blood. He paused, recalling me, and added, poor kid. He spent his life crying out for the souls of the dead and died in the end. You know what? The word family originally came from famulous slave. Watch now, as I show you how I'll change the Changu Group. The house exploded behind him as he threw the remote into the flames, saying, this is so refreshing. But it's getting hot. That's enough watching. While he was preparing to leave, I was charging toward him through the explosion. As he ordered, let's head to headquarters quickly. I lunged forward, stabbing his leg. He screamed in pain, and Baek Junsu and Moon Dane looked back, worried, calling out, Master. He glared at me with anger as I said, did you really think you could lie down and sleep peacefully after killing not only my family but your own as well? With fierce resolve, I began slicing into his leg, blood splashing across my face as I shouted, I will definitely kill you. Moon Dane stepped forward with a gun, saying, please step aside for a moment, but he snatched the gun from her hands and replied, shut up and give it to me. Pointing the gun toward me, he asked, do you think you're the main character of the story or something? Then he started firing at me, adding, sorry, but you're not. I'm the main character here. I was falling from the chopper in the dim moonlight when Jean Chong closed the door and said to the Changu Group, Severance Hospital, there's an emergency. I fell through the trees, hit the wall of a building, then landed on a truck and rolled into a small river. Sometime later, someone cycled by. It was the boy who had been beaten before, looking at me. He was about to leave, saying, "Is it already too late?" But he stopped when he heard me say, "Save me." He looked back at me, shocked, as I pleaded, "It's not over yet. Please save me." Someone played a recording where a frustrated man pleaded for help, venting about having to take a breathalyzer test for the third time. He angrily mentioned someone calling him Congressman Kim 20 and demanded respect, threatening, "Do you know who I am? I'm Kim XX. Do you want me to drag you down?" The boy texted, "How is it? How is the voice?" The sender replied, "Where are you now?" The boy responded, "I heard on the radio you were going for a police investigation." Then the boy asked, "Shouldn't you give me 200? The sender replied, "Just 30. Surprised, the boy exclaimed, "What? You already heard all that?" The sender replied, "It's not even election season. Who wants that? I don't need it. You must have forgotten about the marketplace. If the average person is 1, a top-class celebrity is 10 times that, and this person is 1,000 times an ordinary person." He leaned back in his computer chair and muttered, "Seriously, those bastards at Changu." A radio announcement broke in. An incident has occurred at XX Tower in Jangmyo. He turned off the radio and left his room, entering a shop where a woman was cooking. "You're going to be late for school, you bastard," she said. "No way, I'll ride my board to school," he replied. "Then you should eat," she insisted. He shot back angrily, "If I eat now, I'll be late." "Are you kidding me?" The boy overheard someone say, "I think it will be a problem if the boss doesn't have a single customer at their table." Just then, 3 goons entered the shop. One of them sneered, "Who wants to go to a store that sells bad soup? Just sell your shop quietly, right?" He was the leader, Choi Boksu of the Aburi faction. She replied, "You've really been collecting interest since early morning. I'm busy right now. You can just go to school. I'll handle everything here." The boy glanced at her and left the shop, and the man pulled out a knife, saying, "You shouldn't jump to conclusions so easily. Our patience is at rock bottom after 2 months." He slammed the knife onto the table and added, "If you sell the building now, you'll get to keep the rest of the money. Your interest is compounded. What do you think?" Waving her own knife, she shot back, "Who's the crazy person that wants to sell this building for half the price? You should learn again and come back later to collect the interest." I left from there, sighing deeply, thinking, I live in Wangchungu. It's a redeveloped area, and due to competition among the Changu and Osong factions, this area has been abandoned. It's quite difficult to live here because the rough organizations here are lawless, but this is the perfect place for Aunt Nana to hide. Sometime later, with a bruised face, she said, "Now that you're here, start cleaning the tables." He asked, "What happened to your face, Auntie?" Then an old man said, "It was those guys from the Aburi faction. They came during the daytime. It seems the redevelopment program is going to take place, so they're trying to buy our building." Then his aunt told him, "Shut up and just eat. It's not your problem. Put your bag down and come here." He walked into his room and slammed the door shut. He was leaning on his chair, cursing them, thinking, Aunt Seo Youngsok is my late father's best friend. She was a professor at a well-known medical school, but she was kicked out and ended up running away with me, an orphan. Auntie shouldn't go through something like this. It's not her fault her gukbap isn't delicious, nor that she keeps serving sundae with vinegar. He started typing and thought, if the average person is 1, a top-class celebrity is 10 times that. If it's Changu, he pressed enter and added, it's 1,000 times that. He texted him, "Mister," and the man replied, "Yes, do you need anything else?" Then the boy sent him some pictures and texted, Changu Security's executive director, Jang Juhak, is taking Miho, the leader of Lade, around as his second in command. He was very nervous. Then the man replied, "What?" The boy responded, "The top star is 10-fold, while Changu is 1,000-fold. Did you know that?" The next day, Saturday, some men approached him and asked, "You're gray, right?" He turned toward them, and they stabbed him, then dragged him into a van and threw him inside. The boy thought, yeah, 1,000 times. Become the bait to catch the whistleblower? Damn. He was beaten up and stood before a man who said, "I thought you were just a gossip dealer, but you seem more impressive than you look." The man showed him some pictures and asked, "Hey kid, be honest with me. Where did you get this picture? You want to avenge your father?" He added, "You're the son who fell behind while betraying Huang Jinggu, a senior researcher at Changu Electronics." He was silently smiling, and when the man noticed, he took off his watch and punched the boy in the face, then started slapping him repeatedly, demanding, "Where did you get this?" Then he threw him to the floor. The boy, trembling from the pain, replied, "Now you have it. You should sell it and get rich. You old geezer who looks like a rag." The man shouted, "Give me the hammer." He grabbed the boy by the hair and asked, "Should I pull out all your teeth?" Just then, a man called out to him, and he looked over, confused. The man in the black suit said, "The head office has contacted us. There's a #1 emergency case issued." The man stood up and asked, "How can there be a #1 emergency case now? Pointing to the boy, he added, "Cover that bastard's mouth and put him in." He was kicked into a room where he was bound alongside 2 old women. As he lay there, he thought, his father was a fool. Driven by a ridiculous sense of justice, he tried to expose Changu's corruption but ended up dying in a car accident along with his mother. He couldn't do anything because he's utterly powerless. He could have lived happily just by accepting the money Changu offered him, no matter how precious the information he gathered. It couldn't even shake them. Then he started hearing rising noises outside that turned into screaming. They all looked toward the door in fright. When it opened, the boy saw me say, "Cut it out, everyone can go," then added, "We have never seen each other before." They all looked towards the knife and then ran, thanking me. The boy looked back, thinking, corpses. Is he doing this alone? Then he returned, beaten up, and his aunt was screaming at him, but he explained, "I'm okay. It's not a big deal. I'm fine, so you don't need to worry." Then he walked up, and his aunt was worried about him. He was frightened and breathing heavily, thinking, who is that person? Is he from the Osong faction, or is a different faction coming in? He killed them all with just a knife, even those with guns. The opponent was Changu, but he acted like it was nothing. Who ordered him? Or does he also have a grudge against Changu? He remembered talking to a man and then plugged in a flash drive on his computer, searching through it while thinking, no matter how good the information I have is, if I don't have power, it means nothing. I need power. It's impossible to go through all this data by glancing at it. Then he remembered the man in the black suit and what he said, thinking, number 1 emergency case. He clicked on a file and thought, this is the security guidelines. In the event of a critical issue with the company, an emergency meeting with the executives takes place at the safe house on Bukaksan. The partner companies under Gangbuk region control the area connecting Bukaksan and Wangchungu until the executives meeting ends. It's a mistake. I can't find the exact location. Then he opened his PC and said, all right, enough. I'm not even sure who he is. However, there's a saying that no bad person will oppose Changu. He stood frozen as the radio crackled to life, urgently calling for support. A murder had occurred at house number 13 on Wangchun 4th Street, near Bukaksan. Multiple casualties were reported, and paramedics were en route. The extent of the damage was unclear, but it was known to be a secret residence for Changu executives. A warning followed, urging caution about information leaks. Shock coursed through him as he absorbed the chilling news. He thought, this is it. He grabbed his bicycle and walked outside. While riding, he thought, I don't know who he is or why he made a fuss at Holdings, and I don't know what I can do by going there now, but it's better than staying still. As he headed there in a daze, he saw someone clinging to a helicopter. Then he saw him fall with the sound of a gunshot. He hurried there like crazy. He honestly thought he was dead. Then he heard me say, please save me, and he was shocked. He entered the house with me, calling out for his aunt. Worried, she asked, who is that? What happened this time? I told her, please help him. Please save this person. Later, I was near the window with my broken arm, saying, so you're the one who saved me. Who are you? He replied, Gray. After all the information I've gathered and traded, you're the one I've been waiting for. I asked, information merchant. You? He explained, yeah, to be exact, a wholesaler of information. I hand over unprocessed sources or less fact-checked information to customers. Information merchants, fixers, brokers, and Uedo's financial sector are my customers. Well, I almost died after being caught in a trap because people thought I was an information merchant. I asked, you must be the kid held at Holdings that day. Did you find me just by my face? He replied, I'm good. Later on, I should try getting some kind of youngest information merchant award. I looked around and asked, it's been days since we came here. He answered, it's been 4 days. I thought, I slept for too long. I called out to him, Gray, can you find a person? He asked, a person? I'm sorry to say this, but honestly, I was just lucky when I found you. I also need to use information merchants to do something like that, and it would cost a lot of money. And sorry, but although we did save each other's lives, if you think about the medical expenses, isn't it right for you to grant me a favor first? I asked, so, you can't help me? He replied, if so, I left, and he was surprised. I told him, then I have no choice. Thanks for helping me. After I'm done with my work, I'll definitely reward you. He said, hold on, you're leaving? In that condition? I replied, my work is still not done, and don't even try getting involved with me, or else you won't just be kidnapped. He smiled and said, so he's just leaving like that. I thought, a pig stench? Is this a restaurant? Then her aunt told me, you're not supposed to move around yet. You got hit by a .22 caliber bullet, but luckily, I was able to stitch you up. But if you move recklessly with a broken rib, a bone might fly out. If that happens, even a doctor can't save you. I bowed and said, you must be the doctor who saved me. I will definitely compensate you later. She replied, I'm not a doctor, I'm the owner of a rice soup restaurant, so don't blame me if your stitches suddenly open. I walked outside, thinking, is this a market? Then I looked down at my phone and said to Gray on the call, this is not my phone. He replied, it broke, so it's being fixed. That phone is the same model, so just use it. It fell from such a height. There's no way it's perfectly fine. There should be something else in your pocket. It's an earphone. Use it. I looked at it, and he told me, the battery can hold on for 12 hours. The mic also works, but it's connected through Bluetooth to the phone, so it can't be used from far away. The highest button on the shirt is also a camera, so don't cover it if you can. I told him, I shouldn't have to tell you this again, but if you're found to be involved with me, you'll definitely die. He asked me, why? Because you killed the entire Changu family? He added, it's not surprising. Even though it's Korea, you can't hide after causing such chaos. While you passed out, the entire country was turned upside down because of the news that the entire Changu family died because of a terrorist. I asked, and yet you still want a favor from me? He replied, this place is Jiangxio District 3 Dong, a ceasefire zone where the Changu and Osung factions had a bloody fight over redevelopment. Changu and Osung factions can never get inside this area, but instead, there's another problem, so we can't live peacefully. You said it's urgent, so I'll do you a favor first, but once it's done, do me a favor too. Until then, don't lose contact with me. I can't compromise any further, or else I have no choice but to call Changu. I replied, then let's see your skills. On a busy highway near a bank, I was looking through a locker when I heard from my earpiece, so there's a private safe company in Seoul. What if you get tracked down? The principle of these private safes is trust, I replied, so they never work with any other companies. Most people who use this kind of place are very secretive, so it's safer to hide stuff in these kinds of places. He thought, fake passports, bundles of dollars, and even a white bulletproof vest. Those are enough items to go undercover. He was drinking tea and thinking, but why are there no guns? I saw one knife, but there's no way he's going to fight with just that. My body is getting heavier. It's hard to maintain my expression. Even just walking feels like my body is being stabbed. It feels just like that time when Regina beat me up in the past. I asked, Gray, what about the person I talked about? He replied, Kim Piljung, the CEO of the Moving at Night company. You said he's the broker that helped you get to Korea. It said he was active in Europe, then came to Korea a few years ago and became famous instantly. After confirming with other information merchants, it seems he's searching for a smuggling ship to China. Because you killed the entire royal family of Changu, supervision is getting stricter, so even a smuggling broker can't leave. I exclaimed, that's fortunate, and said, tell those information merchants to say there's one ship and give them 10 times the amount of money. I'll give you all the money, so don't worry. He replied, okay, and asked, what are you going to do once you meet him? You're not trying to escape with him? I replied, I'll kill him. The reason I almost died that day is because someone spread the information that I was going to go, and the only one who knew that I was coming to Korea was that guy. A traitor must die, even if it's my friend of 10 years. Someone was walking forward and banging on the door, saying, Father, I have something to say. From the other side, a voice replied, everyone leads water to their own mill. He sat down on a chair in a room and looked exhausted. He was escape broker Kim Piljung. Someone asked him, what about the money? He looked down at his bag and replied, 100 million won, $100,000. It's more profitable if you exchange it. By the way, information merchant. He looked at his phone and said, I understand, but this country is full of fraud, so I can't trust people easily. Gray said to me, this is dangerous. There are people outside. Then some men entered the room, and he said, it hasn't been a few years since I came to Korea, but how can you get a ship that even an escape broker doesn't know about? Tell me the exact route. If you fail to gain my trust, you die. Isn't that the base rule? Then it means you must be ready to follow the rules too. I told him, you've lost your senses, Piljung. I can't believe you can't even recognize your friend's voice. He was confused and asked, Tia, how can you be alive? You clearly died. He nervously said, I am an idiot. I can't believe I didn't find out even though the password was an Italian proverb. It's gambling. I lost everything because of that and came to Korea, but I couldn't fix that habit. In Gangwon province, I fell into a gambling debt of hundreds of millions in a gambling house under Changu. He silently took a gun from his pocket, saying, I didn't know, my friend. I only told them the date of your arrival in Korea. I stabbed him in the neck before he could point the gun at me. Blood flowed from his neck as he screamed, and the men heard the sound. He was lying there, dead. He looked shocked, watching me. Gray thought, are you crazy? Broken arms. You're going to fight in that condition where it's hard to even walk? I spoke, using a knife and bat against one person? That means you came to kill me, so there's no reason for me to go easy on you. They glared at me, charging forward. I pulled out my knife. Gray thought, it's not just his arm that's hurt. His ribs are fractured from the gunshot. What's he planning? I dodged an attack and stabbed one man in the neck. I approached another, dodged his swing, and cut his throat, then threw my knife, hitting the next one in the neck. Another tried to stab me, but I blocked with my broken arm, striking his chin. As I moved toward the others, I thought, if I crush them from the start, something unexpected is bound to happen. They can't run the 200 million one is right here, so they're fighting purely on adrenaline. And in groups like this, there's always someone carrying something they shouldn't. 2 men charged. I prepared, thinking, if I use my leg, I have only 1 shot. I ran at them, confusion on their faces, and killed the last gunman. They all froze, watching the gun fall to the ground. I turned and asked, next, later. Gray sat in a car, thinking, what the hell did I just witness? How can 2 people be so different? And he's injured, too. I spoke to Gray. Can you hear me? There's a bag of money in the confessional booth. It's hard for me to move, so you take it. He sounded confused, so I added, I know you're nearby. He replied, okay, and got out of the car. Entering the house, he saw bodies scattered on the floor. I stood there and told him, go ahead. He walked forward nervously, thinking, there are bodies everywhere. He said, I called Cole. He'll be here in 10 minutes. Seeing me shiver, he looked surprised and asked, what's wrong? Do you have a fever? Just hold on a bit longer. I'll ask the Ajumma to get you medicine. Suddenly, I stabbed the knife between his fingers on the table, and he stared nervously. I removed my gloves, saying, when I came to my senses, everything had changed flawlessly. My clothes, even my phone, were different, but strangely, I was still wearing my gloves. He stared at me, focusing on my tattoo. I asked, you know who I am, don't you? He responded, the 3rd son of the late chairman Jean Siako of the Changu Group, Jean Suyak's eldest son, Jean Tia, also known as Vendetta, an Asian man in his 20s or 30s from the Salerno family in Italy, a wanted man with a 5.5 billion won bounty under Toxerp. I wasn't planning to tell anyone. The Ajumma doesn't know either. I would have stayed silent if you listened to my favor. I asked him, was the favor so important that you ignored the bounty and risked your life? He replied, you have no idea how hard it was hiding because of Changu Group. Putting my gloves back on, I told him, shut up. If it were just that, you'd hand me over to the Changu Group. You're not thinking clearly. The reason you can't be an information wholesaler, despite having all the resources, and why you didn't hesitate to get involved, though it's frowned upon in your line of work, was probably because you needed experience. That's why most informants are older. I called his name, Gray, and asked, do you want to play on a bigger field? Elsewhere, 2 men walked into a building. One said, when you go in, only ask questions. I'll handle the rest, so stay put. Cheon Heeman replied, okay. I won't stain the Osong faction's reputation. The man added, since people in our organization don't talk much. Cheon Heeman looked irritated, and the man apologized for the wait. Meanwhile, I told Gray, you're a decent information wholesaler. For your age, you're quick at reasoning and reacting. I'll honor my promise to hear your favor, but if you want to work with me, you'll have to risk your life. You won't face much danger, as your role will be selling information. If you're willing, I can make you the best informant there is. The man sat down with Cheon Heeman, saying, because I'm going to crush my friend again. In front of them were Jin Chong, Moon Dane, and Baek Junsu. The man said they weren't going anywhere either, but Cheon Heeman stopped him from talking. Both looked at him, confused. He put his finger to his lips and listened to the music silently, then suddenly raised his hand. Cheon Heeman looked toward him, still confused. The man clapped his hands and said it was just the right time to clap. He added that it would have been better if he had listened from the start. Jin Chong asked if he knew what song it was. The man replied, Schubert Op 1. D.328, the Devil List arrangement. It's a bit awkward, so you must have played it yourself. Jin Chong looked at him and told Moon Dane to turn it off. He added, I played it in 6th grade for a competition. I won, but I stopped playing piano because my wrist hurt. The family members who went to see my performance back then have all died now. How did they all die? They wouldn't have been so defenseless if I had known. Cheon Heeman said, I certainly called. I told you that person didn't look normal and that we should cancel the meeting. Jin Chong told him, despite my warning, put out your cigarette. Were you not educated? Cheon Heeman looked at him angrily, and Jin Chong added, there's something called Emergency Guideline Number 1 in Changu. It's a meeting where every family member gathers in an emergency. It's not about canceling it because it's like the truth of the universe established since Changu was made. That's why I ordered the tracking down and burning of the 200 million won in Osong faction. I tried to keep it as quiet as possible without the group knowing, but I suffered instead of solving it. Thanks to it, my legs also ended up like this. That night, even our headquarters security guards were all killed by the attacker. So how did you survive? Cheon Heeman said, I told you, I'm not affected by those rules. He asked, what kind of rule exists in the eyes of that crazy terrorist? Something like no friendly fire? Cheon Heeman broke his pen in anger and said, enough barking. You think I'd do anything to discredit the organization and my parents' honor? Jin Chong told him, I'm jealous. You have parents who'll notarize things for you. Some of us have no parents left. A nearby man gave him a signal, and Cheon Heeman put down the pen, saying, so, who took care of that terrorist? Jin Chong replied, who else? Sir Baek Junsu dealt with him. Sir Baek, is that true? Baek Junsu replied, yes, that's right. The man looked at Baek Junsu and said, I roughly understand the situation. Tell me what you want. He replied, I don't need any compensation. Just keep quiet about this incident. In the first place, Cheon Heemin never met the attacker, no matter who asks. Cheon Heemin thought, he'll let it pass? Why is Changa taking the lead in hiding this incident? The man lit his cigarette and asked, is that really enough? Jin Chong was about to say something, but Baek Junsu stopped him. Jin Chong looked at him, confused, and Baek Junsu said, he said it's enough. The man replied, excuse me, I can't think because there's too much to process. Would you like to smoke, sir? Baek Junsu told him, I'm sorry, but I quit. Cheon Heemin banged his head on the table and said, you think it's alright for you old people to act like this? I'll be the next chairman. How are you going to handle it? The man replied, stop talking nonsense and put your head on the ground, you punk. He got up, saying, that's what the chairman would have said. That's why I'm here. As he left, he added, since we've reached an agreement, we'll leave first. Let's go, Heemin. He threw his cigarette into the room and said, next time, prepare an ashtray in advance. Don't forget a tissue soaked in water. Jin Chong watched him silently. In the lift, Cheon Heemin said, you press down Changu with your words. The man replied, I came for that reason. Jin Chong still doesn't know how things work. Cheon Heemin was shocked as he listened. Well, there's no way Chairman Jin Guo would have told him that. It's a well-deserved punishment for not dealing with that immoral child earlier. The man added, the villa incident was probably planned by Jin Chong to become chairman. He walked out, saying, Heemin, before Chonga finds out, we must find the villa attacker first. Cheon Heemin replied, pardon? He's already dead. The man told him, he's still alive. Baek Junsu doesn't kill people. Cheon Heemin said, that person's not an actor that Jin Chong hired, but a lot of Baek Junsu's disciples died. He just found someone suitable for the job, someone who would cover everything up and kill. He added, there's a clue. When I met him for a moment, he said he was finally back in Korea after so long. Should we find him and make him come to our side? If we use him well, we might be able to eat up Chonggu. The man replied, that's also good, but let's just kill him. The man further explained, I'm mad that Jin Chong hired you, knowing you'd lose to the attacker. Let's meet again, and make sure you avenge yourself. I hate Osong faction, but I still don't like seeing my people get beaten up. Finally his name was revealed, Kim Jae-bil, 11th rank. Meanwhile, Jin Chong was taking some ice cubes, saying, do you know the best thing I got from my father? They both listened as he continued, reading situations. When Kim Jae-bil asked if you killed Jin Tia, there was this weird feeling. He sat down, saying, now that I think about it, it's a bit strange. That day, you definitely came back after getting rid of that bastard. But he even jumped up to the helicopter, making my leg like this, and until now, his body isn't found. He stopped and looked up with a dark expression, saying, is Jin Tia still alive? Jin Chong said, did you think I purposely let young master Jin Tia go? Baek Junsu replied, he was the one who shot and killed the master that day. He nodded, that's right, and added, there's no way we would have come this far if you hadn't finished him off properly that day. Baek Junsu told him, he had become a lot stronger than I expected. He threw the glass towards the table and got up, saying, forget it. As he was leaving, he said, what's important right now is the meeting with the board of directors. I have to win the majority of their votes to be eligible to join the committee. With a dark expression, he further added, and whether Jin Tia is dead or alive, you can't betray me, isn't that right, sir? Baek Junsu replied, I always keep my promises, young master. They were walking toward the chopper, but standing in their path was Moon Yangmin. Jin Chong asked, you were alive? Moon Yangmin pleaded, young master, this is different from what you promised. Please reconsider the personnel transfer. Why do I, who was the bodyguard of the immediate family, have to be the bodyguard for a mere director? He added, if I had known it was going to be like this, I would have betrayed you. He smiled wickedly and said, so who told you to get your ass beat? Then he turned and said, it ended with a personnel transfer because of your contributions so far. Be grateful you weren't disposed of. Park Juno said, get inside. I'll call you separately another time. He was left there alone, looking up at them. Later, at the shop, I was eating and said, I see. So you were able to guess who I was because your father is a senior researcher at Changu Electronics. Gray replied, that tattoo on the back of your hand. An Asian man in his late 20s who appeared in Toxrip, the murder of the Changu family. And when I looked at the profile picture my father left me, it matched exactly with the one from 17 years ago. I remarked, that's impressive, not bad. She commented, you have so much time on your hands, don't you? As I continued eating, she said, if the abandoned member of Changu had come to seek revenge after 17 years, the preparations must not have been easy. Is it okay for you to be lounging around right now? I asked her, are you going to betray me if things go wrong? When Gray heard that, he spat out his food, recalling me saying, traitors must die. Nervously, he said, no, Why would we? His aunt told me, you never know. Someone who has lived as a mafia killer isn't going to trust just anyone, are they? I explained, I'm simply not putting off what needs to be done right now. And I believe that anyone who is hated by Changu or Osong faction can't be bad people. I continued eating while they looked at me with dark expressions. I thought, I can just take care of them right then and there if they betray me. And they were probably thinking, that's exactly what he's planning right now. Then some goons entered the restaurant, saying, what are you gonna do with all your interest if your customers run away because of the heat? She told them, I've already paid back all my debt, so why are you crawling back here and causing a fuss again? She said to Gray, after eating, have a cigarette and then go back. And you, go to school. Gray, visibly upset, muttered, let it be. The goon noticed me and asked, who's this new face? How did you end up eating at such a bad restaurant? I looked at the food and thought, does radish kimchi always come this big nowadays? The goon said, he's not responding. Are his lips stitched together or something? Gray got up from his seat and said, I'll be heading to school now. He glanced at me, thinking, before you listen to my favor as promised, there's one thing you must promise me. He remembered telling me, don't ever kill or do anything of that sort to anyone. We must never fight each other in this village. I asked, do you think I'm someone who just attacks anyone whenever I want? He replied, no, but you actually did. I asked, so what's your favor? He explained, I briefly mentioned it before. Here in Jiangxiu District, Neighborhood 3 is going to be redeveloped as it's the true zone between Changu and the Osong faction. Back then, the war between the Osong faction and Changu nearly turned this area into a complete mess, but it was halted in a ceasefire, thanks to the efforts of a local organization called the Aburi faction. I said, what are you saying? So, when Changu and the Osong faction were fighting, a small local organization stopped it. He replied, as I said, thanks to the Aburi faction stopping the war, Jiangxiu District, Neighborhood 3, has become a safe zone. The Aburi faction is trying to buy up buildings in this area and form a local housing cooperative. That way, it would be easier to negotiate with Changu or the Osong faction when they show up with the developer. I asked, but you don't think that way, do you? He explained, if things could be solved just by coming together, people would have done it long ago and formed a union by now. However, the district mayor who approved the union was elected with the Osong faction's help. The lady tried to talk to the boss there several times, but he wouldn't listen at all. He's basically saying that powerless people have no voice, so you're going to have to persuade them. In his mind, he thought, you must never beat or kill them, no matter how you look at it. He just looks like a gangster. Are they really the ones who stopped Changu and the Osong faction? I thanked her for the meal. The goon asked me, are you just going to keep ignoring me? She stopped him from approaching me and said, I'm sure I told you not to touch any of my customers. He was about to slap her, but I stopped him with a tissue box. They were thrown out of the shop, and Gray was shocked when he saw that. I slowly walked outside, and he thought, how can he cause a fuss not even 10 seconds since I left? The goon, frightened, said, do you know who I am? I walked toward him, thinking, my revenge plan consisted of about 30 strategies in total. However, no matter what I did, there were still so many uncertainties, but I didn't expect that Jin Chong would actually end up being my enemy, which is why I failed. However, I think I can somehow predict his future plans. Even though I'm blood related to the Jin family, in order to officially inherit the chairman position, it's essential to be elected by the board of directors. So, what if I ruin the board of directors with the Jiangxiu district redevelopment? I told him, take me to your leader. Then some men pointed their guns at me, and a girl asked, are you trying to start a war with us by yourself? She was the second leader of the Aburi faction, Unsuri. I replied honestly, no, then took out a cigarette, lit it, and said, I just want to have a talk. Unsuri asked, you came to talk? Bullshit. Do you think I'm stupid? What kind of talk are we going to have with my people lying behind you? I waved my hand and replied, sorry about that, but these people weren't listening to me. I only talk with people on the same wavelength as me. I thought I heard that a small organization drove the Osong faction and Changu away, so this was it. Armed forces were stationed all around the buildings. If these guys are scattered over the entire city, that must mean that the entirety of Jiangxiu District Neighborhood 3 is the base of the armed forces. If there was even a single spy among the conscripts, the intelligence system would have definitely been breached. Is this when the disciplinary system came into effect? She told me, then I'll at least listen to your final will before you die. Go on, speak. Are you a Changu piece of crap or an Osong faction bootlicker? I was angrily looking toward her when I tried to say something, but they fired a gunshot. She mockingly said, just talk while standing unless you want to talk with a head full of holes. With an angry face, I clenched my fist and told her, I always knew this day would definitely come. They were firing at me, but without any worry, I moved forward and added, to think such disgusting things have really been happening. I didn't want to believe it. They asked her, boss, it's dangerous. Should we kill him? She called out, wary on. Then a man jumped down from the building. He was the vice leader of the Aburi faction, alias Tank, Lee Warion. He was standing silently in front of me. I glared at him and told him to move. He looked at me, then stepped out of my way while she stood there, confused and shouting at him. Then the gunman came out, calling her boss. I snatched the drink from her hand and threw it away, saying, "When you're drinking such sewage water, it's not surprising things aren't going your way." She looked at me, confused, as I came closer and began examining the surroundings. Then I started leaving and said, "There are only people not worth talking to. I'll be off." Her men started shouting at me. She approached Lee Werion, who told her he didn't have any malicious intentions. She smiled and asked, "So you just stepped aside for him to go meet the boss? Looks like our organization is running real nice." He replied, "Boss, you must have felt it too." "Even I felt it." He added, "This hasn't happened since the war." Seeing the real deal. Sometime later, we were fixing the broken door. She asked, "Are you sure you fixed it?" Gray requested her, "Now give us food." She scolded me, "Break it one more time, and I'll just kick you out." I assured her, "I'll be more cautious." Suddenly, Unsuri banged the door open. Along with her, Lee Werion came in. Suddenly, Unsuri hugged her, saying, "Uni, I missed you. Have you been well?" She grabbed her cheeks and told her, "You little, keep messing around with the doors on other people's shops." I thought, she's a completely different person from when I saw her in the morning. Is this her actual personality? Unsuri closed the door, saying, "Uni, I heard that bastard Choi Boksu laid a hand on your face last time. Sorry about that. We dealt with it so that they wouldn't be able to do such a thing again. So please understand this time." She replied, "That's enough. Finish fixing the door already and come eat. You're way too skinny." Gray whispered to me, "Back when there was a war here, Andy healed many injured people of the Aburi faction." He further explained, "She treated the previous boss, Unsuri's father, multiple times for free, so she's considered a savior." I said, "A person whom their boss considers a savior, but their subordinates treat them this rudely," and she was listening to our conversation. I looked toward her and added, "Only a boss by name, but it looks like it was just a scarecrow all along." She jumped, wrapping some wires around my neck and landing on my table, saying, "You're still ungrateful after I've shown you mercy earlier." She smiled and added, "Say that again, Sir Goody Two-Shoes." "What did you say?" I looked down at the threads around my neck and thought, this isn't a normal wire. The intensity is different. I revealed, "You should know better than me. The people stationed on the buildings when I came to visit earlier, rather than aiming for me, they went after you, the boss." I explained, "It may seem like a truce on the outside, but are you already being controlled like a puppet on the inside?" She remembered when I told her, Bowman Restaurant at 9 p.m. There seems to be a lot of informants, so let's talk there. I asked, "Who was it? The force that ordered you to buy all those houses? Was it the Osong faction or Changu?" When she heard that, she got very angry and tried to punch me, but she was shocked when she saw the threads cut by me. Somewhere in a building, a man was naked, begging someone to spare him. He further added, "I may have failed the Lebanon deal, but if you give me one more month, I will earn twice that amount for sure." The man picked up a call, and the caller informed him an outsider intruded in Jangseo District Neighborhood 3 earlier. He approached Unsuri, but he noticed our presence as soon as he came. The caller asked him, "What should we do?" On the other side, a lion was released from its cage. The lion was approaching the naked male while he was begging the director for help and crying, but the lion ate him. The other man was looking toward my photo, and the man said, "How entertaining. Bring him alive." And he was the Changu Electronics board member, Jincheng faction director, Hong Injiu. I told her that the one targeting Jangseo District, Neighborhood 3, was Changu. "Even though you knew there were spies hiding, sent by Changu, you didn't catch them because you were being threatened?" Shocked, she was thinking, "This guy, just who is he?" He cut my thread without any hesitation. "It's a secret weapon made of Kevlar fiber." She asked me, "Who are you?" I told her, "In this country, I am the person who kills Changu people the best." She was confused, so I further added, "If Changu is the problem, I think I can help." Gray's aunt said, "You can trust him. It's okay, Suri. If it's this person, he can solve your problem too." Confused, she looked toward her, then left, saying, "Don't be ridiculous. If killing a few people would solve it, it would have been over long ago." She angrily added, "This is your last warning. Stop meddling and get out of this village," and then left. Sometime later, I was smoking with her, and I said, "Thank you for your kind words earlier." She looked confused, so I reminded her, "You said they could trust me with the Changu problem." She asked, "Isn't it true? Is there anyone in Korea who can even touch the Changu family?" I asked, "Who is it?" "The guy who is secretly scheming in Changu." She explained, "Hong Injiu, the director of Changu Electronics. That damn bastard is the root of all problems. Suri's father, the former boss, almost died in the redevelopment war, but that guy took him to the hospital and saved him, and now he's using Suri. Only Suri and I know this. The villagers all think Suri's father is dead. If they find out he's alive, there will be resistance, and everyone will die. I hope the problem can be solved without Suri's father dying." She then asked me, "Can you help?" We then went back into the shop. A man reported, "This is B1. The target has entered. Did you confirm the conversation?" The other man on a rooftop replied, "Confirmed. Seo Youngsuk is asking the man for help. It's hard to read the man's lips. Confirmation is impossible." The other man reported, "Asking for help? Is he a mercenary sent by someone like us?" The man on the roof replied, "Don't know. We just need to capture him alive as planned. The other man asked, what about the woman and student in the store? He replied, not needed. Kill them all. Then he was surprised to notice me standing behind him. He sharply turned back to fire at me, but I stabbed my knife into his hand, immobilizing him completely. From the radio, the other man was asking, what are you saying? B1, are you okay? The man fell to the ground, looking at his hand. I took the radio and said, this is B1. No need to worry. I'll be there soon. The next day, at Changu Severance Hospital, a man was eating an apple and saying, I clearly asked you to finalize the contract by yesterday. It was Hong Inju, sitting near a hospitalized patient. He asked her, are you trying to mock me, Unsuri? She replied, I have to persuade them and get their signature, so there won't be any problems later. Hong Inju said, Suri, you know, I don't treat useless people as humans. He smiled and stabbed the patient with a knife, saying, they're just a piece of meat. She screamed, Dad. He kept stabbing the patient and said, look at this. It's beeping. Isn't this proof that he's alive? We're trying to save this useless piece of meat. She cried out, I get it, so stop. I'll definitely get it signed. He got up as she said, please, just stop. I'll do anything you say. While she pleaded, just please, my dad. He grabbed her by the chin and said, so at least do what I tell you, you worthless piece of trash. Her tears were falling as she cried. He wiped the blood from his face and said, I always like that defiant look in your eyes. It makes it satisfying to break you. There was my picture on the table, and he added, I'm curious about what he does, so bring him to me by today. She was holding back tears as the man left, saying, remember, Unsuri, you have so much to lose to betray us. The man was walking toward the elevator, trying to call someone, but the call wasn't answered, frustrating him. Then he noticed me behind him. I cut his ear, and he looked down at it, then fell down, screaming and grabbing his ear. I stepped on it, took off my mask, and said, you're looking for me, Hong Inju. He was furious and tried to punch me, and I thought, in the Jiangxio redevelopment war, Changu used mercenaries to fight a proxy war. They are called peak, ruthless bastards who will do anything for money. With a dark expression, I asked, did you think money would solve everything? Showing him the dog tag, I added, if you are ready to see others' blood, you have to be prepared to see your own blood. I then stuffed it into his mouth, saying, from now on, no matter where you are, I'll visit you once every day and stab you. He looked terrified, and I glared at him, saying, so start preparing yourself.